Hi friends, welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about what is request dispatcher and how to use request dispatcher in Servlet. Also, we will discuss about JSP Directive include tag. So, in our previous video, we have discussed about send redirect method in Servlet, and with the help of this send redirect method I can make a redirection from sublet to either success or failure page based on the condition or based on the user credential. I'm going to use the same program, or I'm going to use the same web application. With the help of the same code, I'm going to explain the usage of request dispatcher in sublet. So first let us observe our send redirect code output. So as usual, I have a login page .html, so which is my starting page. So in the login page, I'm going to enter the correct credential as per my sublet. The username is admin, password is 123. The moment I click my login button, since the credentials are right, it is making a redirection to success page. In the success page, it is displaying welcome admin. And also in the send redirect method, you can look at the URL. In the URL, it is displaying the target page. Now we'll go back to the same output. Will enter the wrong credential. I'm going to enter some wrong credential, that will be Valan, and some password. The moment I click my login button, again it will go to my sublet. From sublet, it is getting redirect to fail.jsp, and in the fail.jsp, it is displaying a message invalid username or password. So this is what we have done in our previous video with the help of send redirect. So here we have to observe two things. So one thing is, in the target page, it is displaying the target page name. In the URL, it is displaying the redirected page success.jsp or fail.jsp. It is displaying. So this point we have observed. And another scenario is, if the credentials are right, it will display the success page on the new page, that is right. But if the credentials are wrong, it has to stay on the same login page, and it has to display the error message on the same page itself. So that is our real life application. So you can take our real life application, maybe Gmail or Facebook, whatever it is. If the credentials are right, it will display the success result on a new page. But if the credentials are wrong, it has to display the error message on the same page itself. But right now, since we are using response.send redirect, always it will redirect to the new page. I mean, the response will be in the new page. Also, in the response URL, it is displaying my target page. So now we are going to use request dispatcher. With the help of request dispatcher, we will achieve these scenarios. If the credentials are right, it has to display welcome admin in a new page. If the credentials are wrong, it has to display the error message on the same login page itself. So that we are going to see now. So I'm using the same code, everything, but only this fail.jsp is not required right now. So I will close it. So what I am going to do, I am just removing this send redirect code. So here I have to write a code for request dispatcher. what is our requirement? If the credentials are right, I have to display my success result on a separate page. Nothing but it should be look like a send redirect. So now you can look at the code, it's very simple. I'm going to use request dispatcher. You can look at the suggestion. Request dispatcher is a predefined interface from javax.servlet package. So first I will import it. You can look at my import statement. I have imported request dispatcher from javax.servlet package. And since it's an interface, I cannot create an object by using new keyword. So what I will do with the help of request object, I will initialize my request dispatcher by invoking a method get request dispatcher. And what is my target page? If the credentials are right, my target page is success.jsp. Finally, if the credentials are right, what I am doing, I am initializing the request dispatcher for success.jsp, and I have to make a complete redirection. If the credentials are right, then the success page should be the separate page. Yes, in the success page, it will display that particular user, maybe email item, I mean inbox list, if it is a email application. Right. So finally, what I am going to do, if the results are, if the credentials are right, I am initializing request dispatcher for success.jsp, and I want to make a complete redirection. To achieve complete redirection, request dispatcher is providing a method forward, and it is expecting to pass two argument. One is current request object and response. So it is already there in my do post method itself. So finally, if the credentials are right, so then I'm initializing the request dispatcher for success.jsp, and I'm making a complete redirection with the help of forward by passing current request and response object as an argument. Suppose if the credentials are wrong, so then I should not make a complete redirection. I have to include login page. So I will initialize request dispatcher for login page dot html. But now what is my intention? I should not make a complete redirection. I have to include this page. So for that we have a separate method in request dispatcher include. Again I need to pass current request and response object as the argument. Finally, if the credentials are wrong, yes, I have included my login page, nothing but my initial page. But at the same time, I want to display the error message as well. So for that, what I will do, I will come with out.println, and I will say font color equal to red with bold. I will say invalid username or password, and I will be closing the tags properly. Yeah, so that's it, friends. So I'm summarizing the code once again. If the credentials are right, for example, I'm considering username must be admin, password must be 123. If the credentials are right, so what I'm doing, I'm initializing request dispatcher for a success page, and it has to display on a separate page Nothing but I have to make a complete redirection to success page. So for that, request dispatcher is providing a method forward, so which will accept current request and response object as the argument. Else, if the credentials are wrong, I want to include my login page. So that's why I'm initializing request dispatcher for login page.html, and I have include method to include this login page, as well as I am appending this error message like invalid username or password. So now let us run this code and we'll observe the output. So physically you will feel the difference. Sorry, I need to run my login page. I'm just running my login page. So now it's started. So now first what I am going to do, I'm going to give a correct credential to check whether it is making a complete redirection or not. I will say admin as username and the password is 123. So now I will click my login button. With the help of request dispatcher, it is getting redirect to a success page, nothing but complete redirection. But friends, you can look at my URL this time. So previously in the case of response.send redirect, it's displaying our target page in the URL, but now it is not displaying our target page. So which means one point we have to be very clear. So response.send redirect will make a redirection on a client side, but this request dispatcher will make a redirection on a server side. So finally send redirect is client side and this request dispatcher is the server side. So now let me enter the wrong credential to verify whether it is including my login page or not. So let me give a wrong credential. Let it be Valan as username. Password is any password. So the moment I click my login button, you can see it is displaying my, or it is including my login page, as well as it is displaying my invalid username or password. So you can make maybe some BR tag as well as center tag so that you can place it exactly just below of the login page. I mean that login div. So hope friends we are clear about the difference between request dispatcher and the send redirect. So finally, request dispatcher is a predefined interface from javax.servlet package. It has two methods, forward and include. To forward to the target page and include the target page. And this request dispatcher is server side redirection, but response.send redirect method is a client side redirection, which is not a secure one, right? So now you may get another question: how to send the dynamic data? For example, in our previous video, we have discussed how to use dynamic view with the help of response.send redirect. So how to achieve that dynamic view in request dispatcher? So we'll see, it's very simple. What I will do, I will say username can be anything, but the password must be 123. So his username can be anything, the password must be 123. So that username I have to send it to my target page, nothing but my success page. How to send it? So in case of send redirect, we were using a query string, nothing but question mark uname equal to that username I can send it. But how to send it in request dispatcher? So very simple. You can look at our request dispatcher forward method. We are sending our current request object as an argument. So we are actually forwarding the current request object to the new target page. So in that request object I can bind my data. I will say request dot set attribute. I will say I want to send an attribute and the attribute name is uname and value is the username which is entered in the login page. So like this, by using set attribute method, you can send n number of data. You can send n number of data, maybe username and f name, l name, whatever it is. So any data you can send. Also, you can see the prototype of set attribute method. It is not only for string. You can send the object as well. You can see the first argument is string uname, but you can see the second argument it is object. So which means I can send any object as a dynamic data to the target page. Not only string value, but for example here I'm using a string value. But we can send any object. So I'm just sending only username. So now in the success page, I have to write a dynamic code to read this username. So already in our previous video, we have discussed the JSP basic tags. The same code I am going to use. I'm going to declare a variable string name by using declaration tag, and by using scriptlet tag, I'm going to initialize this username so that I'm going to get it from my previous page request. Yes, while forwarding to the success page, we are binding some data, nothing but username inside this request object, and we are forwarding that request object, right? So by using the same request object, I'm going to call get attribute, and the attribute name is uname. And you can look at the error message. It's very clearly saying that so this get attribute may return object. Yes, already we have discussed by using set attribute method, I can send any object, not only string, I can send any object. So finally, this get attribute method will return everything in the form of object. But right now we are expecting a string value, so I need to make a typecast, or I can say to string. And you know how to display the dynamic data in JSP by using expression tag. I'm going to display this username. Finally, this is a way how to send the dynamic, or how to create the dynamic view in case of request dispatcher. So very simple. So by using request object, I mean before forwarding, by using request object, I can set n number of attribute. So that's the reason we are forwarding the same request to the target page, nothing but success.jsp page. So finally in the success.jsp page, we are writing some JSP code to read the value from the request. Since it's a request.get attribute, it will be returning in the form of object, and we are performing typecasting, and either with the help of out.println or with the help of expression tag, I can display the value. Let us run this code and we'll verify whether we are getting a dynamic data or not. So previously it was displaying only welcome admin, but this time it has to display a dynamic data. Let us verify it. Okay, so my page is started. I'm just going to give any username. Let it be, the username is Arasu, and as per my code, password must be 123. So I'm entering the password as 123. And the moment I click my login button with the help of request dispatcher, it will be forwarding to my success.jsp. You can see in the success.jsp, I'm able to get my dynamic data. So finally, likes response.send redirect. In case of request dispatcher also, we can send some dynamic data to our targeted page. So hope friends we are clear about what is request dispatcher and how to use request dispatcher include as well as forward method, and the difference between send redirect and the request dispatcher uh, forward method as well as include method. Also, we understood how to send the dynamic data by using request dispatcher. In case of request dispatcher, how to send the dynamic data with the help of request object. So now we are going to discuss our last agenda of this recording or this video. So that is we have to discuss about JSP directive tag or at the rate include tag. Let me remove this dispatcher code. I'm going to achieve the same concept with the help of JSP. So right now what we have done with the help of request dispatcher inside a sublet, we have achieved forward as well as include. So the same thing we'll see how to achieve with the help of JSP page. So right now I need my file.jsp as well. So I will take my file.jsp. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the same code I'm going to take. Username equals admin and password is 123. I'm using the same response dot send redirect, so which we are already discussed in our previous video. If the credentials are right, I'm going to redirect to success.jsp. If the credentials are wrong, I'm redirecting to fail.jsp. And in the success.jsp, what I will do, this time I'm not sending any dynamic data. So I will remove my dynamic data code. I will say simply welcome admin. Yes, I don't want to make the code as more complicated. Yes, already we have discussed how to send the dynamic data in case of response dot send redirect in our previous video itself. So all the our previous videos are available in the description. You can watch it if you didn't watch. So finally in the sublet, I'm going to check the credential. If the credential are right, I'm going to redirect to success.jsp. Else, I'm going to redirect to fail.jsp. But our intention is what? In the fail.jsp, I have to include my login page and I have to display this error message. To achieve that in sublet, we were using a request dispatcher include method. The same thing we'll see how to achieve in JSP. In JSP, it's very simple. Simply, I will come with the directive tag. So this is my JSP directive tag. If the tag is coming with the at the rate symbol, then I will say it's a directive tag in JSP. So I have one of the directive tag called page. Sorry, one of the directive tag called include With the help of this include, I can include any file in a JSP. My intention is what? I want to include login page.html. So finally, in my sublet, what it is doing, if the credentials are wrong, it will get redirect to file.jsp as a new page. But in the file.jsp, what I am doing, before displaying this error message, I am including my login page.html with the help of directive include tag. I am including login page.html. Also, I am appending my error message invalid username password. So if I run this code, I will be getting the same output. But previously we have done with the help of request dispatcher in sublet. But right now we are doing with the help of directive include in JSP. Let us run and verify our output. Okay, so now I'm going to enter the wrong credential. Yes, our intention is we have to verify whether it is displaying a login page along with error message or not. I'm just going to enter the wrong credential. Username is Valan, password is 123. So I will click my login button. You can look at the output. It is redirected to fail.jsp as we know already. Now we are redirecting with the help of sent redirect, which is client side redirection. So that's why it is displaying fail.jsp in the URL. It is it get successfully redirected to fail.jsp, and in the fail.jsp it is including my login page because of at the rate directive include. Also, it is displaying this invalid username or password. You can make some BR tag and center tag so that you can place it exactly just below of this login div. So friends, we are clear about what is request dispatcher and how to use request dispatcher to send the dynamic data. Also, we have understood about the usage of directive include in JSP. Thanks friends for watching this video. So if you like this video, please subscribe and click on the bell symbol so that as soon as I upload a new video, you will be getting the notification. Also, you can share it with your friends.